Okay, prop the mic. How's it going? Wait,
It's,
wait,
it,
before I forget. Wednesday, May 3rd, 2023. How's it
it's
going?
good. It's good. The followers are flowing in. It's good. It's good. We were joking around right before we came on air, so I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to hold my laughter in, but it's
Gotta be a
good.
little silly sometimes,
Yeah, for sure.
Keep it light.
So what? Yesterday we put out a bunch of picks on the show, but we
Mm,
kind of held back a little bit. We did our little three-leg parlay with our buddies.
Mm-hmm.
Just one three-pointer off from nailing that, so that was close. And then we got some winners on the show, but it was good restraint not to throw a bunch up on Twitter.
Yeah,
Um, right?
yeah. You want to
Sometimes,
see? I mean, we wanted to see how Game One played out. You had all, it was such garbage what they did with Brunson and Randall yesterday to keep them questionable all day long, and then only to just not. It was less than an hour before the game that it came out. I mean, just to do that to
to us,
sports bettors like us is not cool. So yeah.
forget those people who watch for the love of the game.
Yeah, so it was some days, you obviously we want to have action, we want to have some skin in the game, but sometimes you have to pick your spots and step back a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's good restraint. All right, and tonight, we only have one game. We got the game two of the Sixers at the Celtics. Celtics last I looked were -8, and the total is 216.5. So Celtics really have kind of owned the series in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody expected them to blow out the Sixers in game one. Sixers came out with uh, James Harden from the Rockets,
Yeah,
who just went
he was
off.
unbelievable.
It was. We also have to speak for a second about his pregame outfit. That was so appropriate. He came in, people were mocking him for this Cookie Monster looking outfit.
Yeah.
And then he and he just went off. So
Well,
he's
he had
he's
to I heard after the game it was, he's like a fashionista type guy, right? He wanted to be at the Met Gala and he said I never get to go cuz I'm always playing in the playoffs. So he had to do his own little red carpet thing in little Met Gala style. So yeah, I like to see
yeah.
that and obviously it worked. So
I am excited to see what he wears to the game tonight. I'm not usually into outfits, but that's gonna be hard to top.
you're into the pregame fit. I love it.
I love the pregame fit. Too bad Russell Westbrook's out. He
Yeah,
always rocks something good.
he does.
All right, so let's go to today's game. What do you Embiid's back is the assumption.
Yep.
I first of all, talking about the game, I think 8 points is a lot for the Celtics to be giving up.
Mm-hmm.
They did win. I think 3 out of 4 in the regular season. I think it was, but
Mm-hmm.
there weren't a lot of blowouts. So first, start with the game. What do you like there? Sixers or
I
Celtics?
I don't mind the 8.5. I think it's, after, getting this fire lit under them in the first game, and getting the bejesus scared out of them, as they say. I think, they're going to come playing some lockdown defense. I mean, their defensive lapses were just brutal in the first game. So I think I don't mind it. I think this could be a statement game. I could see this being a game where Embiid has 40, but they still the Celtics still win by 10 points or something like that. I just think the talent's going to rise to the top, and they're a much more talented team 1 through 8. I think.
Yeah, definitely deeper. And and I guess the Celtics need to treat this like a game 7 almost, right? They lose
Which they
this,
will, I think.
then go to Philly and down 0-2. They're in big trouble. So
Mm-hmm.
so anyway, let's start on the Sixers side. I know you had a bunch of picks there. What do you like?
Yeah. I like so. Let's start with PJ Tucker here, just real quick. I think the guy didn't attempt a field goal in the first game. I don't think that continues. I think especially with Embiid back helps him because he'll have some kickouts from Embiid. I think for some 3-point attempts. He's had success. So I like his 3.5-point line. It's -130. He's had success against Boston. 4 of the last 5 games against Boston, he's cleared this. The only game he didn't was game 1. averaging over 6. So that's 2 made threes, or however you want to dice it up. So I like that. It's by quite a bit. This postseason, he's played. We'll just run through the 5 games: 25 minutes, 25, 22, 29, 30, and then 37 in the game without Embiid. I don't think it'll be that high, but I think he's going to be in that 30-minute range, right? So if we start at 25 minutes, 15 of 19, he's cleared this with 25 minutes, 10 of 12 with 27 minutes, and 6 of his last 7 with 30 plus minutes. So I think it's a good spot, a good bounce back spot for him here. What do you think?
Yeah, we were chatting about this earlier. I do like it if you look at it on the season, but I don't like it when you look at it on the playoffs. I don't remember the stats. I think he had crossed in only one or two games in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, it's with 3.5 point line. There's an element of luck. But you're certainly right. His chances of having a big game are oddly going to be better with Embiid in the lineup because Embiid will draw people in. I think also his need to play down low as a big man changes too when Embiid's in the lineup, so he can go back out and find his little corner that he likes and hit those threes. So it's a decent play. And usually, just in case anybody else likes this, it's usually available on BetMGM. A lot of the other books don't carry the PJ 3.5. So
yeah, good point. Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
All right. What else? Let's move on from PJ.
Then I think I'm gonna ride with Joel here. His line's 24.5 points. I mean, it's when was the last time we saw Embiid at 24.5 point line? Not in a couple months.
Oh wow. Is it down? I saw it at 25.5 earlier. So it might actually be coming down.
I just checked on DK. It's 25.5 on FanDuel. It's 24.5 on DK, minus 140. I think it was 25.5 at minus 108 on 104 on FanDuel, something like that.
Yes. I like either of those, to be honest with you.
To be honest, yeah, I agree too. He's done 60 of 68 games. He's cleared this line in, averaging 33 points a game, 27 of 30 on the road, averaging 32.5. Last 6 of 7 against Boston, averaging 33. And if you take out one game where he played like 25 minutes against Boston, he's done in 6 straight games against Boston, averaging 35.5 points per game.
Yeah, I think, you said to me earlier today, why are they even playing him, right? So I think you have to consider that factor is if going into the fourth quarter, the Celtics are up by 20 or like it's a runaway. It's a wrap. They're going to sit him. They're going to rest him. They're going to just concede the game and basically move on to game 3. 1-1 going home. So that's the risk in this one. But I think it's going to be a close game, and I think he's going to probably have a bit of a minutes restriction. I think he'll cap out probably around 30 minutes, but I still think 25, 24.5, 25.5 is still doable for him, even in 30 minutes.
Yeah. Would you consider like a first quarter or half as maybe a better play on Embiid here?
Half maybe. First quarter, I'd be careful because normally he does play like almost the first whole first quarter. I think he plays at least 10 minutes in the first quarter. But if he is on a minutes restriction, they might change the way he plays. Right? They might actually have him out there only for like 6 or 7 minutes in the first quarter. So, given that uncertainty, I would stay away from a subset of the game. But it is a good thought.
Yeah. Okay. So I like that, and then just to add on top, and then maybe you might want to do something with this if you wanted to maybe bring his line down. But I also him to have 1+3. It's also minus 140. He's much better on the road than he is at home. We've discussed this on the show this season. 24 of his last 30 games on the road, he's cleared this in. When he plays 30 plus minutes, he's clear. He's had 1+3 in 21 of his last 24 games on the road. So if you wanted to do a little something like Embiid 20 points and 3, that could maybe be nice. I could also see him maybe with the injury, maybe attempting a couple more threes because he wants to play out on the perimeter a little bit more than get banged up, down low. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a good play. I think it's a good play any away game. So I like that one.
Yeah.
I also had I did have his points like you had.
Mm-hmm.
4-4 versus Boston really stood out to me.
Yeah.
I did also like his RA. RA is 12.5. He's done that in 3 or 4 versus Boston, and 7 of his last 8 versus Boston. If you go back to last year as well, averaging 17.1 RA in those games. But then what I wanted to do is kind of look at the 2 games this year in Boston and use those as kind of a baseline. So I looked at those 2 games. He's averaged 18 RA in those 2 games in Boston, played
Mm-hmm.
an average of 39 minutes. So I said, all right, if he ends up being on a 30-minute restriction, let's just
Mm-hmm.
take the minutes from 39 down to 30, which is a
Yeah.
77% subset of that, right?
Okay.
So a 23% reduction. That takes it down to 30 minutes. That equates to 13.8 RA. So if he basically performs the same way in less minutes, he's still clearing this by 1.3 RA. So I kind of like that as another play. I think he can get easily 4 assists and 8-9 rebounds. So
Yeah, I mean, if Embiid's fully healthy and playing minutes, I mean, you're getting there's so much value here. It's just you see, you're dealing with obviously you're dealing with a little bit of uncertainty, and that's why these lines are down. But the dude just won the MVP yesterday. Like, I don't think he's going to come out and like have like a half-ass sort of game. I think he's
he's fired up.
yeah, exactly. So
Although the way he like approaches the MVP, it almost seemed like it's more important to him than winning the championship.
yeah, there's
Right?
a lot of tears yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But good for him. A lot of people are
yeah, man.
challenging it, saying Jokic should have won, but who cares? The guy didn't even want the award, so let's give it to the guy who actually cares
Who
about
really
it, right?
wants it, right?
Yeah,
That's
right.
what I mean. Some people argue the other way around and be like, the guy who doesn't even care about it and who is like, contending to win it, maybe you should give it to him. But
No,
and Embiid, so he's a fun guy to root for,
he is. He is.
Yeah,
He plays hard. He's so dynamic. So
yeah.
anyway, all right. I got it. Before you keep going, I got to. Actually, do you have anybody else on the Sixers side?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right. So let's start the Celtics off with our main man, Malcolm Brogdon.
Okay, and you're
Wouldn't be a
taking the
show.
lead on Brogdon today. I like it.
Yeah, although I'm going to go just with his points. Today I like 14.5 points. So that line is just creeping up and up and up. We played his par, I think, at 19.5 the other day. It was up to 21.5. I think his points were probably around 12.5, and they're up to 14.5. He had, what did he have, 20 points the other day?
Mm-hmm.
And against Philly this year, he's played them 5 times. He's cleared this in 4 or 5 games. So 16-19. He had 5 in one game. That was the only game he missed, and he only played 20 minutes in that game. Yeah. And then he had 18 and 20. So really good. If he plays 25 minutes this year, he hits this line in 30 of 40 games. That's 75%. If he plays 35 minutes like he did, 33 minutes like he did last game, they really played him a lot. He's hit this in 8 of 10 games, averaging 21.5. And also in those games with 33 plus minutes, he's crossed us in 7 straight. So I think he's in a great position to put up another 15 to 20 points tonight. What do you think?
You never have to convince me on Malcolm Brogdon. I love it. He had 16 field goal attempts the last 2 times he played Philly, so volume is there. I mean, he hasn't had less than I think 11 field goal attempts. I was doing some digging him in all postseason except for maybe game 1 against Atlanta. So yeah, I'm a ride or die with Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah, for sure. I'll just throw in one more idea. If he does continue to play 33 plus minutes, which he played last game, another approach would be his threes, 2 plus threes. He has crossed this in 16 of 17 games where he played 33 plus minutes this year. That's a 94% hit rate, and he's attempting 5.6 attempts in the game. So basically, only needs to shoot, about 35%, 37%, something like that. So I think I personally prefer the points because he does have a good, drive to the hoop game. Mm-hmm. But you could also consider putting up 2 threes as well for him.
And you think this any thought behind what the extra minutes were about? Just because he was shooting better than White. I know White didn't have a lot of field goal attempts in the first.
Yeah, White's minutes were down. I think they just realized that he, before the game, remember when we were doing our analysis, we said he can really dominate against this Philly second
The
unit.
second unit, yeah.
So I think they keep him out there for the second unit, and they
Mm-hmm.
extended his minutes a bit more because he was hot. So I think he will continue to play because I think he's got a good matchup in this series. So
Yeah, and
maybe not
probably
33.
also. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, maybe not 33 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, but
Yeah.
I don't think he's going back down to 20 minutes or
No, I
something
don't
like
think
that.
so either. Yeah. Also, you had Melton does a lot of second unit stuff with the Sixers, right? Who was actually playing more with the first unit last game. So, but
Oh, that's true.
regardless, I like this play quite a bit.
Okay. All right. Who else do you got on the Celtics side?
On the Celtics side, so I posted it up on Twitter already. Rob Williams over 7.5 points. We were on it the other day. Almost got there. Yeah, it was 3 for 3 from the field for 6 points. He's the last 3 times. I just think he's going to play more minutes tonight. I mean, you can see this up on Twitter. I think he's going to play more minutes tonight to guard Embiid. He's he's averaging 27, 28 minutes the last 3 games against Embiid, something like that. And shooting 82% from the field. So yeah, I like that. But the other guy I like, who we haven't talked about yet, is Jaylen Brown. So I like his points, 24.5 points. I kind of wish it was 23.5, but 24.5 is, I still think, pretty good. He played big minutes last game, just going to 38 minutes, which I think he is no problem here. He's done in 11 of 12 games when he's played 38 plus minutes. His last 11 of 12, I should say, averaging 32 points. He's done in his last 4 of 6 against Philly. He's shooting 57% from 2 and 54% from 3 this postseason, so very efficient. 130 points per 100 shot attempts. So I think he's playing well. And Tatum had the 39-point game. So if you go back in the history of the Celtics, I mean, I'm not saying this always happens, but a lot of times it's either a Tatum game or a Brown game usually. And a lot of times after a big Tatum game, you get a higher than normal output from Jaylen Brown.
Yeah. Yeah, and he is he's very much shoot first right now. He's not passing the ball very much, so his attempts are going to be really high tonight. I heard he was also pretty fired up after the last game about like the team's performance. So he's got kind of this game is a bit on his back to win. So I liked it too. We actually I put it up there in that initial Twitter post this morning. When we were talking about the odds. But yeah, I do like this a lot. I think he's a great play tonight.
Yeah, I got one more on Jaylen Brown. This is something that I normally do not play, but over 2.5 turnovers, minus 130. Okay, he's 5 of 7 against Philly, 5 of 7 this postseason, 10 straight home games when he plays 26 plus minutes, and 19 of 24 home games when he plays 35 plus minutes. He's sloppy with the ball. He has a tendency to he'll have like one pass a game where he just like passes it to the other team. He'll have like usually one a game where he like dribbles it off his foot or something. Like he's not a good ball handler. And this high pressure situation, I could see leading to some more turnovers. So
yeah. Yeah, I was looking at that one earlier.
Okay, nice.
I can't remember why I didn't play it, but out of all the turnover plays that I was looking at, I thought that one was one of the nicer ones.
Yeah,
so, it's good. All right, you have any more plays? I got one more.
No, go for it.
All right, so we'll finish off with Marcus Smart. He's had really good success against Philly. So there were different directions I can go: points, par, PA. But out of all the stats, rebounds is kind of his weakest stat and most inconsistent stat. So I went with 16.5 PA, minus 135. Looked at games where he played 30 plus minutes at home, and he has crossed that in 14 of 16 games with that profile. His only 2 misses, he had 16 and 16. So he basically missed this by 1 point or 1 assist in the 2 misses that he had. Against Philly at home this year, he's had 21 PA and 19 PA. He had another game against Philly on the road with 21. And then he had one game where he missed against Philly with 13, but he only played 26 minutes in that game.
Yep.
We'll go one more layer deep. In the playoffs,
Okay.
he's 6 for 7 in the playoffs, averaging 21.4 PA. So, and
And
oh, go ahead. No,
No,
go
no.
ahead. All right, last bit.
Yeah.
The other thing that I liked is so what did he have? 23 PA last game? Is that I'm sorry, no, not 23. He had
No. He had 19.
19 PA, right? So he cleared it by a good margin, and he had
Yeah.
0 threes in last game too, right? On the
Wow.
season, he averages 1.9 threes per game. In the playoffs, he's been averaging 2.1 threes per game. So he basically cleared the line without even, this normal 6 points that he gets from threes. So I think tonight that will change. I think he'll hit some threes tonight, and I think he'll clear this with no problem. All right. What were
Yeah.
you going to say?
I was just going to say that the one miss this postseason was also the only game he played less than 27 minutes. So
Yeah.
I think this is, and that was, what was that, game 6? No, how many games did they play again? No, they played 6. So game 5, that was the game they came back, right?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
remember. But anyway, there's a lot of green here.
Yeah, I really like
I like
Marcus Smart tonight. I think the two risks that you always have with Marcus Smart are injuries
it.
and fouls, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think the closest he's gotten in any game against Philly, if I was correct, is 4 fouls. So, that's to me probably the bigger risk. He's a strong defensive player, even though his defense is a little bit weaker than it used to be. But he's very scrappy, diving for balls, things like that. He tends to get
Yeah.
cheap fouls. But yeah, I think he's a good player tonight.
Yeah.
That was I think that does it for us. We've got lots of plays on this one.
Yeah, I think so. Because this is a nice change from yesterday when it was hard to find something we really liked. So
Yeah, and I also think the total in this game is maybe a little bit too low. 216.5. The last game was 119 to 115 without Embiid. Now Embiid might slow down the game a little bit, versus a guard heavy game, but still I think this game could sail north of 220, which is good for all these overs that we're
yeah,
proposing.
I think the Celtics are going to try. The one big weakness for Philly is like in transition, and I think Boston's going to really try to force the issue and get out in transition quite a bit. And I could see the score getting up. I like that. That's a good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right,
All
cool.
right,
All
very
right,
nice,
that's
David.
it. That
All right,
does it.
enjoy the
Yep.
games.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Bye.